Welcome to the Cinematic Flashbacks. Today we will talk about Episode 5 of Last of Us. We start off with shots of festivity in Kansas City, as firecrackers burst in the skies and yells and serenades of opportunity ring out from a dazed crowd. People are drinking earthy-colored alcohol in the roads, and yells of F***KU, Fedra, ring out. Unfortunately, everything gets dull rapidly, as individuals, reasonable Fedra specialists and the people who upheld them, are being killed and hung in the roads. A body with numerous blades standing out of it is hauled past. Sam, who we last saw holding Ellie and Joel gunpoint, is concealing in the shadows with his more established sibling Henry. Henry signs to Sam, affirming the reports that the last option is all hard of hearing. The two are near their objective. In the meantime, Kathleen and Perry contend before a gathering of Fedra sources who evidently double-crossed their loved ones. Kathleen is requesting data about Henry's area. One breaks, and says that Henry's with Edelstein, who Kathleen didn't accept was a Fedra partner. Kathleen, in contrast to Perry, is eager to follow them generally down. She likewise advises Perry to burn all of the Fedra supporters. In the meantime, Henry and Sam interface with Edelstein in a beat-up storage room. The specialist urges Henry to quiet Sam down, letting him know the kid is frightened on the grounds that Henry is terrified. Subsequent to projecting certainty, and owning up to Sam that their ongoing refuge is monstrous, and provides Sam with a sack of colored pencils to make craftsmanship to give the spot some excellence. In the first part of the day, Sam's ravenous and painting utilizing a genuine paint can. Henry then makes it known that Edelstein isn't returning. Sam inquires as to whether he's dead. Henry can't affirm, yet concedes that is his thought process. Henry advises Sam to shut his eyes, which permits Henry to paint the eye veil on the youngster's face, matching the legends on the craftsmanship on the walls. Be that as it may, since there are no mirrors, Henry needs to show his work utilizing the impression of a blade. Sam's bliss might be totally inspiring, however the means for getting this response is completely somber. This is where Henry sees all of the disorder in the laundromat where Joel and Ellie crashed, and it gives him a thought. Slice to evening, and Henry and Sam are venturing over the messed-up glass that Joel had set up. Henry signs to Sam that there's an issue. Sam can tell he's caused an uproarious misstep, and Henry depends him with a weapon. Henry and Sam, with the most horrendously awful method for acquainting themselves with Joel and Ellie, are not persuaded that Joel won't turn on them the subsequent they put their weapons down. Ellie attempts to persuade them that Joel doesn't talk in a way that causes trust, saying that is only the manner in which he sounds. He has an *** whole voice. While Sam and Ellie, at last tracking down somebody nearer to their own ages, immediately bond, Joel needs Ellie's poking to present himself officially. Henry invites them to Killer City, and concedes that he's a Fedra partner, which nearly sends Joel taking off. Henry lets Joel know that they can help one another. Henry and Sam know how to escape the city, and he realizes that Joel can safeguard them. At the point when Henry clears up that holding a firearm for Joel was the nearest he's consistently come to viciousness, Joel can peruse the genuineness in his voice. An understanding is made. Henry draws up the arrangement for escape. They'll utilize nearby passages to come to the private areas on the west side. Also, he makes sense of that while they are tainted, they'll be protected, as they are not on a superficial level. Fedra drove them underground. On the walk, Henry's very certain that all that will work out, and Joel continues to need to remind everybody to hush up. Henry says something about Joel being Ellie's dad, and the two talk over one another to address him as quick as could be expected. Underground, they run over a painted entryway that seems to be a palace. Sam needs to go through right away, however Joel says no, and goes first. Inside, they track down the remaining parts of a kindergarten or some school for the youthful. Joel makes sense of that gatherings who went underground after episode day, and remained there. Sam finds an issue of the Savage Starlight comic series, which it turns out Ellie loves. The two have gathered various issues of the series. They bond over the witticism of the comic, to the edge of the universe and back. Persevere and get by. Ellie and Henry propose keeping close by, which Joel is uninterested about. Then, at that point, while Ellie and Sam play soccer, Joel and Henry begin to discuss headier issues. After Joel says he feels terrible for about the two being on the run, for on the grounds that the senior sibling was a witness, Henry concedes he lied, there was something else to it. That he sold out an extraordinary man, since Sam has leukemia, and Fedra had the main medication that would work, and they believed Henry should swindle this incredible man. Furthermore, that extraordinary man was the head of the obstruction development in KC, Kathleen's sibling. Henry says he can see that Joel was a dad, which starts Joel's flight impulses. Perry finds Kathleen in the room she experienced childhood in, as her mom let Perry know where to see as her. Kathleen makes sense of how Michael, her sibling, helped her through the turbulent times, saying their house was an impervious box. Furthermore, as she destroys over his memory, we get an update that she's not 100% evil. She's furious and lamenting. What's more, despite the fact that Michael advised her to pardon, she won't heed that guidance. Perry isn't quick to either, as Michael changed nothing. And Kathleen did. Out of the sewers or more ground, the pack came to the private area. And, surprisingly, however Joel's proclaiming quiet, Henry's sufficiently extravagant to grab the attention of somebody not a single one of them can see, who has an expert marksman rifle. We see that the shots are coming from the highest level of a house, as Henry and Sam attempt and run for it. They can't get liberated from the gunfire, however, and run back to Joel and Ellie. Joel inquires as to whether she confides in him. She gestures, and he some way or another makes it the whole way to the house. This piece of covetousness is presumably the most computer game-like scene in the episode. There, he tracks down an older male expert rifleman, and kills him. The person, it ends up, was named Anthony, and Kathleen's on the opposite finish of a mobile talkie, shouting for Anthony. Joel hollers and it's past the point of no return. Kathleen and Perry's group is coming, and the threatening truck with the run, spray-painted on it is going right at Ellie, Henry and Sam. Fortunately, Joel figures out how to ultimately have a chance off that takes out the driver, and in the nick of time as Ellie had tumbled down. The truck bursts into flames and explodes, and fortunately Henry's there to snatch Ellie and carry her to somewhere safe. What's more, that is where we get a Wild West stalemate, as Kathleen yells, "Impasse!" prior to requesting that Henry step out and save them some time. Henry offers to surrender himself on the off chance that the children can go. Kathleen says no, makes sense of that she knows why Henry surrendered Michael to Fedra and, in a second that dissolves her humankind, she proposes that Sam was simply expected to pass on. That children bite the dust constantly. Henry advises Ellie to take Sam and run, as he moves forward and out, with his hands up. The visual of Henry, a person of color with his hands up high realizing he's presumably going to have chance, is chilling. In any case, right as Kathleen is going to shoot him, the run truck spills into a house, making a sinkhole. What's more, since individuals know the tainted were drawn underground, this keeps everybody from noticing as a Goliath crowd of contaminated swarm jump out. One nearly gets Ellie. Joel shoots it off her, so she can conceal in a vehicle. Also, at the time many, yours really included, have been sitting tight for, the abnormal bloater rises out of the opening. It's large, it's awful, and it rips Perry's head clear off. Then, at that point, in a considerably seriously agitating second, a tainted youngster creeps into the vehicle Ellie's taken shelter in, pursuing her out. Then, because of cover fire from Joel, Ellie figures out how to assist Henry and Sam with breaking liberated from contaminated who were pouring at them as they concealed under a vehicle. All so they can disappear to find Kathleen gazing them generally down with a firearm. This might have gone extremely terrible, however a contaminated leaps out of the off-screen region and hammers her. "Tear Kathleen, you had main problems." The group has tracked down an inn to hold up in, where Joel clears up for Henry that they're kids, they'll adjust. It's harder on them on the grounds that the critical step is having individuals depending on you. Henry giggles about persevere and get by, the aphorism of the comic that Sam and Ellie love, as that poop's repetitive. At last, it appears as though Joel is prepared to give others access to their lives. He offers to carry Henry and Sam to Wyoming with them, and Henry says he'll let them know in the first part of the day. Which is where many individuals realize this will not occur. are most likely anticipated that Joel should require Ellie at an ungodly hour. If by some stroke of good luck. After Henry advises the children to nod off, Ellie gets Sam to keep awake, as she plays out their comics to him. Sam gets his static cushion, which is utilized to address Ellie, who doesn't sign, and inquires as to whether she's always terrified. She answers, "Do I not look frightened?" Sam states, "Never." Ellie concedes she's terrified, and that she's frightened, constantly. And after Ellie jokes that she's just terrified of scorpions, she conveys the show's most recent unfortunate second, conceding, "I'm produced of finishing alone." Also, that is insufficient close-to-home torment. Ellie asks what Sam's frightened of. He inquires, "In the event that you transform into a beast, is it still you inside?" prior to showing an injury on his leg. He's tainted. Ellie moves quickly, saying her blood is medication, and cuts herself so she can drain onto him. Sam requests that she stay conscious with him. Ellie vows to, yet we then see her wake up. And keeping in mind that we first see Sam confronting the window with his back to Ellie, he whips around and assaults her, his turned. Ellie escapes to the parlor, where, in a moment, Henry settles on the decision to shoot Sam. Overreacted, Henry inquires, "How did I respond? How did I respond?" Joel attempts to get the firearm from Henry, yet is not quickly enough, and Henry commits suicide. By this point, in the event that you're not destroying a bit, you want to check to ensure you're not contaminated. After Joel completes their gravesite, Ellie leaves Sam's static cushion on the grave, with the all-covers message of, "I am sorry." Joel takes a long second quiet agonizing despondency before Ellie lets him know now is the ideal time to go.
Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing.